Good morning, and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11, and you can find me on X at Razzle11grinds. Go ahead and take a look at some pitching for today, the 13th of September. It is Saturday. We have a 6-game day slate and a 7-game main slate this evening. By the looks of it, we don't have any weather to worry about. Real light winds blowing out in a lot of places. A lot of places upper 70s, low 80s. A little warm up compared to some recent trends. Best hitting environments: Atlanta, Sacramento, and Philadelphia. I don't believe the Philadelphia game is on any of the slates that we're going to cover. I think these two games are kind of on their own. The Sacramento weather is interesting because we have a pitcher that I really like in that game. But nothing to really worry about. Some wind blowing out in Wrigley, obviously something that we pay attention to. But it's a reminder that this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. And I will be looking at DraftKings, as that is where a majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, I'll cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now with all that fun stuff out of the way, let's just jump right into this first slate. Wrigley Field, wind blowing out slightly to center. I'm just not going to get on Colin Ray. He was pretty strong in his last start, but that was against Washington. For all I know, the wind might have been blowing in that day as well. I don't really remember. But 61 pitches, 73 pitches. I'd much rather play the Tampa Bay bats, especially the left-handed hitters. Drew Rasmussen on the other side. Recent starts haven't been great from a an upside standpoint. Can give up some home runs, but not. He's generally a ground ball guy. I think there's upside for him. Obviously, since the Cubs, had to put Tucker on the IL, etc. But big problem is the pitch count numbers. We're kind of all over the place again. They haven't said that they're trying to limit him in any way, but still, his numbers just bounce around. Probably leave him as like a fine to play guy, but it's not going to be a priority by any means, and I'm not sure he's going to make my final pool, but he's at least in consideration. Baltimore-Toronto. Sugano against Toronto, I'm just not getting there. Been atrocious the last couple starts. 6 home runs allowed over the last 3. 2 starts against Toronto, just not good. Just 1 strikeout in 2 starts. Toronto just not a huge K team. There's no reason to play Sugano for me. Scherzer on the other side hasn't been great. 4 earned runs allowed in each of the last 3 starts. 5 home runs total allowed in that stretch. Did strike out 8 last time out, so that's intriguing. 4 walks is definitely not. A month and a half ago, struck out 11 against Detroit. That shows us the upside he does have. The overall Baltimore lineup has been struggling, so I do think that Scherzer's in play from an upside standpoint, but I also would not be shocked if some of the Baltimore bats wake up in this spot. Pitt, Washington. 2 of my favorite pitchers on this early slate, and it's gross. One's 5,500, Andrew Alvarez. His first start was strong. Second one was not good against the Cubs. Getting another start here against Pittsburgh. I think it's a decent matchup for him, to where that I think he can approach this 21, 22 fantasy point range. And on this particular slate, I think we can get away with our SP2 getting us 21, 22. And living with it, I think there's a possibility where we can live with 18 from the SP2. So the other side, Bubba Chandler. I am going to Bubba Chandler. This does feel like a dangerous spot for me to do that. I believe in the talent long term. He looked really good in his first 2 appearances. His last one out against Milwaukee was absolutely lit up in his first career start, I believe it was. I believe these other 3 were, yep. He was kind of the bulk reliever after an opener. Milwaukee, tough team for him to face. Washington is definitely not Milwaukee. There's a lot of upside in his arm. We don't know how many pitches he could have thrown last time out. I mean, he just gave up so many runs. that it wasn't a pitch count thing that he's pulled from. So we could see 80 pitches out of him, 85 maybe. This is more me betting on the talent than anything. So I am going to take the chances. I am going to be severely overweight on Bubba Chandler. Yankees in Boston, Brian Bayo, probably a fine play, like averaging 30 DK points per start against New York this year. 2 starts, just 6 hits allowed. It's pretty strong upside for a guy in a tough matchup. His K numbers at home aren't that great, but still, like, there's K upside in this matchup, so Bayo probably a really strong GPP option. On the other side, Max Fried should be solid. 2 starts against Boston, 24 DK points per start. Stronger K numbers in those matchups than Bayo. Probably the SP1 on the slate, especially for cash games. It's not a great slate for cash, to be honest. Texas and the Mets, I'm just not playing Patrick Corbin. If I lose because of Patrick Corbin, so be it. We've played him a few times this year. I don't really love the spot for him on the road. A number of Mets bats have hit him really well in their careers. Just a lot of things pointing towards no thank you. On the other side, Brandon Sproat making his second start. Looked pretty solid in the last one. Walks were an issue. Strikeouts were there. Jonah Tong looked horrendous yesterday, but I have no problem going back to a rookie against Texas today with Sproat. Detroit, Miami. Not interested in Jansen Junk. He's struggled against left-handed bats. I think Detroit ends up very left-hand heavy. Charlie Morton, I think, is fine. His last couple have been pretty bad. Last 3. Miami doesn't strike out a whole lot, so that's a big worry. He just falls into that fine category, probably like Drew Rasmussen. Morton's matchup's probably a little better. Drew Rasmussen is probably just a better real-life pitcher at this point. Flipping over to the main slate, Arizona, Minnesota. No thanks to Ryan Nelson. I'll pass. His road splits aren't very good. Very similar to Brandon Pfaadt yesterday. Just no thank you with Ryan Nelson. Joe Ryan coming off of a horrendous start against Kansas City. I like it for a bounce-back spot. I really do. His numbers at home, pretty strong. He does give up some home runs, so that is a little bit of a worry. But I think Ryan is in an excellent spot for some upside. Houston and Atlanta. Hunter Brown coming off of a very strong start. His best start in the second half. Atlanta, the bottom half of the lineup, can be pretty weak. He hasn't been as strong on the road, but I still like Hunter Brown quite a bit. I do think I'd rather play Joe Ryan at the savings, but still, Hunter Brown going to be in my pool. Bryce Elder, 3 straight really solid starts. 4 straight, actually, with 2 straight really strong ones. Houston's not the best of matchups for him, but still, I think I might sprinkle him in just the way that he's been playing or pitching. His home numbers are pretty bad overall, so that's a huge worry for me. A 1.72 whip at home on an efficiency site is super scary. But I do think I might want to sprinkle him in. He could be one of those last man in my pool type pitchers, where I just believe in the recent trends over the season long. It's tough to do. We always got to weight those, like pitchers and hitters go in streaks. Like, how much weight do we want to give to recent trends? How much do we want to give to historical trends? I want to give a little bit of weight to recent for Elder, but be very mindful of historical trends with him that say he's just not that strong of a pitcher. St. Louis, Milwaukee, Mizorowski. We know the upside. He's coming off of a dominant performance. They let him throw 108 pitches. He had an extra day of rest. But does that mean they're going to dial him back and take him back to around 80, 85 pitches? I haven't heard anything, but I do have some worries about that happening. St. Louis, not the easiest of matchups because they don't strike out a whole lot. They battle, walks. But he did put up 23 fantasy points against them. I think he's in play. There's just ridiculous upside for 8,700. But be mindful that we could see him pulled at 80, 85 pitches. On the other side, Sonny Gray. Really up and down season. Hasn't been great against the Brewers. Hasn't been great away from home. I mean, he just hasn't been great overall. But from an ERA standpoint, he's been worse on the road. His fantasy points per games have been better. I'm just not going to use Sonny Gray against the Brewers right now. Colorado, San Diego. Dylan Cease, the guy I wanted to use yesterday. I'm going to him today. 8,800 for the upside that he has against Colorado. Yes, please. We saw J.P. Sears kind of hit a wall, but he struck out like 7 in the first 3 innings. Dylan Cease has a chance to do something very similar. Blaylock on the other side, no thank you. One start against San Diego. Negative 22.8 DK points. They let him sit out there and absolutely take it from the back. I'm just not getting there. Obviously, that probably came in Coors, but still, no thanks. Dodgers, Giants. Logan Webb at home is always going to be in play. Not the best of numbers against the Dodgers this season, but still, he is at home. And part of the Dodgers lineup can struggle quite a bit, and I would guess that Muncy's not in the lineup after being pulled last night for a wrist issue. The other side, Clayton Kershaw, coming off of a very strong start, arguably his best start of the year. I mean, if it wasn't, then his best start of the year was against the same San Francisco squad that he's facing. In this ballpark, I don't expect strikeouts to be there for him because he's so smart at pitching into contact that but I still will be using Clayton Kershaw in this matchup in that ballpark. Angels, Seattle. Mitch Ferris has a little bit of K upside. I just don't want to utilize him. I think he could probably, finish with 15, 16 fantasy points. But on this particular slate, I just don't think it's enough for us. Brian Wu on the other side, definitely someone I'm going to utilize. Decent against the Angels first time, didn't pick up the win. But his home numbers are absolutely phenomenal, and the Angels strike out a ton. So I will gladly take that matchup for Wu. He's cheaper than Hunter Brown. He's definitely my preferred over Hunter Brown on this slate. Last game, Cincinnati and the A's. Now, this is the one pitcher I was talking about, Hunter Green. Guy I absolutely love. 22-plus fantasy points in 4 out of his last 5. 27-plus in 3 out of his last 5. Massive K upside. 12 strikeouts in 2 out of his last 4 starts. The A's can strike out a lot. The big worry here would be home run ball in Sacramento. Gives up a home run every roughly 7 innings. A couple years ago he had a huge home run issue. He's kind of worked it better. He's rougher away from home, which is where he's at here. 8 home runs in 37 innings. That's a worry. We're looking at a shot. He gives up 2 home runs, but even 2 solo home runs, like if he gave up 1 solo home run last time out, he gives up a second, he still puts up 37-plus DK points. I think we would lock 100% Hunter Green if he told me he gave up 2 home runs and still put up 30-plus. So, ton of upside. There's a volatility to it, though, because the A's do have the power. Luis Severino on the other side has been atrocious at home. But I do think it's a decent spot for him. 2 starts ago, threw ball decently well, didn't pick up the win. Against Seattle here, against Houston here, really solid. I think there's some upside in this matchup. He's been pretty bad much of the season, but there's K upside in the matchup with Cincinnati. It's a volatile spot for him as well. There's going to be plenty of bats used GPPs in this game, but I do think both pitchers are super viable. Severino at 5,700, very intriguing to me. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll put links in the description below. For another day or so, you can use promo code MILLY, M-I-L-L-Y, for 20% off any membership that you want to choose for as long as you stay a member. 20% off is the best code we've ever offered at DFS Army. And I will drop a link to our merch store. You can check out Tournament Tactics, my pre-lock NFL show, and my hoodie, along with other options, our traditional one as well. Like I said, link will be in the description below. Let me know what you think of the merch. And as always, best of luck, everybody.